you for taking time out to do this interview. I'll get straight into it. One of the biggest troubles for Liverpool last season was injuries to their defense. Have you seen a change in strategies from Klopp this season in the first three games to avoid such situations again?
Avoid what situation? Sorry,
Injuries in the defense line.
you can't avoid injuries. You know, a player's going to get injured because he breaks his leg, he pulls his hamstring, something happens to his knee. So you can't avoid injuries. And there's nothing the manager can do to avoid injuries. So no, I haven't seen any difference. Players have to give 100%, and injuries are unfortunate. Like Van Dijk's injury was a complete accident. Most injuries are. But what he does have is he have a bigger squad now. So therefore, if he feels a player needs a rest, then he can do that, which isn't a guarantee of avoiding injuries. But what it is that if players get injured, they have got equal quality to come in to supplement that, so you can stay as strong as you can and competitive.
And talking about the Chelsea game, what's your thought on the controversial red card? Do you think that there's a need to change the double punishment rule?
Well, you can't, because the thing about it is that if it's deliberate handball that stops the ball going into the net, it's a red card and it's a penalty. So there's not a lot you can do about that, because as you can see, he moved his arm and he stopped it. So that's the rule. So you can't send him off and not give a penalty, or you can't give a penalty and not send him off, because, you know, if it's deliberate handball on the halfway line and he puts his hands up, it's a yellow card. And if you already have one yellow, you have to give him another yellow. So stopping it unless you're going to change the rules, which I don't think you necessarily should. And in fact, I think had they been 11 men, I think Liverpool would have gone on to win the game, because it made it harder for them when Chelsea just sat back and defended. But I mean, I don't think that the rules can be changed for that, no.
In the first two games, Klopp started with Jota, then Firmino replaced him in the second half. Third match, Firmino suffered a hamstring injury, Jota replaced him. Do you think this is going to be Klopp's tactics throughout the season? Jota and Firmino keep playing against each other, or do you think either of the two players getting a game together or playing for 90 minutes?
Well, I mean, you can play Jota, Firmino, and Salah, Jota, Firmino, and Mane, and Mane, Jota, and Salah. So you've got a front four, and he can also play Jota at times, as he has that as one of the midfield three. So what he does, he gives him options, and I think we'll see that being used a lot. Whereas before, he didn't have those options, so therefore you had to have the front three, you had to have the midfield three. But of course, now you can see also with Thiago now being there as well. That with Jordan Henderson, Fabinho, James Milner is still there. You can even put Jota in that position. So I think they're just much more healthy in terms of having options, and Klopp will utilize that depending on the game and the opposition.
But still, there's a place for Firmino in the team, for you think?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I like Firmino. He's my favorite player. I think the way he plays is the reason why Salah and Mane score the goals that they do. Playing with Lewandowski up front, they wouldn't do that. So I think he still is the reason that Liverpool play the way they do. Of course, Jota coming in gives you something different, and he feels he needs something different depending on who you're going to play. But I think push come to shove, I think that when, you know, and you look what Klopp likes, and you're thinking about the big games, the Chelsea, the Man City, Champions League finals, Firmino will be playing, I think. So as much as you may see more of Jota, I think in the big games, Firmino for me is the man that he will always go back to.
And switching gears to Arsenal, I have a very simple question to ask, but it might be tricky for you to answer. What is going so wrong with us?
Well, it's 3 games. It's 3 games. There is nothing's going wrong now that hadn't gone wrong last year. You look at where they finished last year. It's a work in progress, and they have to be given time to adapt, to adjust. They've got lots of young players who will need time to develop. And unfortunately, the season hasn't started well for them. So I don't know why people have expected after last season for things automatically have turned around this year. They still have those problems. But if Arsenal stay together, they've got good players, good belief, good support, I'll see them moving back up the league. But it's been a difficult start.
Talking about Manchester United, they have Sancho, Ronaldo, Fernandes, Pogba, very strong attacking midfield. But do you think they still need a defensive midfielder in the January transfer window, or Van de Beek, Fred, Scott McTominay are enough to take that role the whole season?
Well, they have McTominay, they've got Fred. They've also got the other Croatian boy, whatever his name is, who was at Chelsea. They just need to have the right balance. It's not just about scoring goals. It's also about the balance of the team. There's only one football. So when you have Fernandes, now you also have Ronaldo, then you also have Pogba, who always wants, and all of them want to be the top dog. It doesn't work that way. So as much as they've got good players, they still need to have the right balance and the right attitude. And also, you have to then stop questioning the manager and stay thinking, if you lose a game, he should be sacked. Once you don't have that harmony and all these question marks about whether Ollie's the right man for the job, which people are still asking, that doesn't create harmony, and they will always have that inconsistency, because if they don't play well and lose, it'll be Ollie's fault. And once you have a situation like that, whereas if you look at Manchester City, Chelsea and Liverpool, the manager is unquestioned. If they lose a game, you never question the manager and saying he's the right man for the job. And that is why they do what they do. And I think if Man United want to do something, they have to really just have that attitude.
They bought Sancho, they bought Ronaldo, they got Varane in the transfer window. They sold off this player, Daniel James, for 28 million to Leeds. Do you think Manchester United, among the top 6 clubs, have the best transfer window? They even managed to retain Pogba and Cavani for the whole season.
I don't look at transfer windows. Transfer windows mean nothing because players can come and do nothing. We don't know. They have to be integrated into the team. Will Ronaldo suit Man United? We don't know. Will Varane suit Man United? We don't know. So as much as you can buy players, how do we know how long it's going to take them to settle? Are they going to be used to playing with each other? So I don't care about transfer windows. Look at the squads, and it's got a good squad with good players. But Liverpool have got a good squad with good players. And they've had 2 signings that they've integrated into the team because they had 4 or 5 months last season in Jota and Thiago Alcantara. They've had 4 signings this year because Van Dijk is back after a year. He's a new signing. We also signed Kanate and Matip and Joel Gomez are back as well. So, and these are players who understand the system, understand the way we play, and they haven't played last year. So, signings for me is just about how much money you've spent on the players you have. It's the players you have available to you. And Man United have got good players.
Mason Greenwood scored 3 goals in 3 games so far. But do you think Cristiano Ronaldo coming in could probably put his starting 11 position in contention?
It'll put a lot of people starting 11. Look at Marcus Rashford. You may play Greenwood, and then you don't play Cavani. So of course Daniel James is gone. So that could be a setback for one of the two, be it Greenwood or be it Marcus Rashford. Because Ronaldo is there. So how are they going to feel about that, and how is that going to help them moving forward in the future? Even if Ronaldo leaves next year or 2 years' time, and Rashford or Greenwood haven't developed because of these 2-year period where they're on the bench most of the time rather than playing them all the time. So only time will tell. Only time will tell.
I just have one last question to ask you. Liverpool have Salah, Van Dijk, Chelsea have Jorginho, who won UEFA Men's Player of the Year. Ronaldo is coming back. United have got Pogba, Varane. Would you say at this point, from marketing point of view and from talent-wise point of view, Premier League is the biggest European competition?
Well, it has been for years. It has been, and that's from a financial point of view. Of course, Barcelona and Real Madrid and Bayern Munich and Paris Saint-Germain are huge clubs. But I think generally speaking, if you look at the Premier League and the clubs in the Premier League and on what they can get, a lot of the clubs, obviously, they are. So, and Barcelona seems now obviously to not be the club that they were from a player point of view in terms of having the best players. Real Madrid also. So yeah, the Premier League obviously at this moment in time is.
Thank you so much for taking time out and speaking to me.
Okay, no problem. All the best.